When God wants you with someone, nothing in this world can stop it. Not distance, not delay, not confusion, not even the interference of people who think they know better. When God ordains a connection, heaven and earth align to make it happen. The hearts of men bend in ways they never thought possible. Paths that once seemed separate suddenly meet, and everything that once felt uncertain begins to make sense. You see, there are divine alignments in life that human logic can never explain. You may not understand why you met a certain person, why your heart feels drawn toward them, or why every time you try to walk away, something invisible pulls you back. That is not coincidence. That is not chance. That is the whisper of God guiding two souls toward a purpose greater than themselves. Many times, people rush love. They chase people who were never meant to stay. They hold onto relationships God never approved. They confuse attraction for destiny, and when it breaks, they blame God. But when God wants you with someone, it will not be built on confusion, pressure, or manipulation. It will be built on peace. You will feel a divine calm, a sacred assurance that surpasses understanding. It will not drain you. It will develop you. It will not destroy your focus. It will strengthen your faith. God never unites people for pleasure alone. He connects them for purpose. When God brings two hearts together, it is not simply to make each other happy, but to make each other holy, wise, and powerful in faith. Sometimes, before God unites you with the person meant for you, He will separate you from everyone who isn't. He will allow rejection, silence, and loneliness to purify your heart. You will wonder why people leave, why communication fades, why certain connections that once felt so right suddenly fall apart. But what you don't see is that God is protecting you from what could delay your destiny. The isolation you fear is often preparation. The people who exit your life are clearing space for the one who truly belongs there. God removes distractions before He releases divine appointments. He is never late. He is perfect in timing. When God wants you with someone, He will prepare both of you in the secret places. He will teach you patience while He teaches them purpose. He will refine your heart while refining theirs. You might not meet until the exact moment both your spirits are mature enough to handle what God intends. It's not just about attraction or compatibility. It's about divine timing. If you meet too early, your immaturity could destroy the connection. But if you meet in the fullness of time, your union becomes unstoppable because it's rooted in God's will, not human desire. You will know it's from God when you don't have to force it. You won't have to beg, chase, or prove your worth. The right connection flows with grace. It grows naturally without confusion. It brings clarity, not chaos. God's blessings don't come wrapped in anxiety. They come wrapped in peace. When it's divine, you won't feel the need to control outcomes, because you'll trust the one who controls all things. The love that is born from God will not make you forget Him. It will drive you closer to Him. But here's what many people forget. Before God brings the right person, He will ask you to become the right person. You can't ask for a godly partner while living with a worldly heart. You can't expect divine love while walking in disobedience. God cannot unite two people who refuse to honor His principles. He will not build something sacred on a foundation of sin. So when God delays your connection, He is not denying you, He is developing you. He is cleansing your intentions, strengthening your discipline, teaching you to love without attachment, to give without expecting, to trust without seeing. There will be moments when you feel forgotten. You will see others finding love, others getting married, others celebrating what you're still praying for, and you'll ask, God, when will it be my turn? But you must remember, God's timing is not human timing. He does not operate on the clock of emotion. He moves according to purpose. The waiting season is not punishment, it's preparation. Every unanswered prayer is shaping you into the kind of person who can carry the weight of divine connection. Every delay is a design. Every disappointment is a direction. And when it finally happens, when God brings that person, your spirit will recognize it before your eyes do. There will be an unspoken understanding, a peace that doesn't need explanation. You will realize why every heartbreak had to happen, why every season of loneliness was necessary, why every no was divine protection. The person God chooses for you will not compete with your calling, they will complement it. Together you will serve, build, and grow. Together you will pray, dream, and endure. God's purpose for your connection will not just bless you, it will bless generations after you. Yet, not everyone can recognize when God is working. Some are too busy chasing temporary attachments to discern eternal ones. They want immediate pleasure, not lasting purpose. They want someone who looks good, not someone who stands firm in faith. That's why God often allows delays to separate desire from destiny. He will let you meet the wrong ones so you can recognize the right one. He will let you feel what counterfeit love feels like, so that when divine love comes, you never doubt it again. Sometimes the connection God has for you will be tested. It will go through seasons of silence, storms, and distance. But those moments are not signs of failure. They are tests of faith. God will allow tension to strengthen trust. He will allow challenges to build character. Divine love doesn't run from trials. It grows through them. When God is the foundation, storms don't destroy, they deepen. The right person will not leave when life gets difficult. They will pray with you, stand with you, and believe with you. When God wants you with someone, He will confirm it through peace, not pressure. You won't have to manipulate outcomes or demand signs. The confirmation will come quietly, but powerfully, through alignment, through consistency, through purpose. Everything about that connection will make you a better person, not a broken one. God's chosen relationships are not about emotional highs, they are about spiritual growth. But here's the truth many avoid. Sometimes God's will is not to give you the person you want, but to give you the person you need. The one who challenges your weaknesses, calls out your potential, and refuses to let you settle for less. Divine love is not always comfortable. It's transformational. It stretches your patience, sharpens your humility, and teaches you the meaning of true sacrifice. If it's from God, it won't just feel good, it will make you good. There are moments when God hides certain people from you, because you're not ready yet. You'll look around and think no one fits, no one understands, no one sees your worth. But God is working behind the scenes, shaping hearts, orchestrating divine meetings, preparing the perfect alignment. When it happens, it won't be random. It will be revelation. You will look back and say, now I see why I had to wait. Now I see why every door had to close. Because when God opens the right door, it will not just lead you to someone, it will lead you into destiny. When God wants you with someone, He will allow you to cross paths in divine timing, maybe through an unexpected situation, a small decision, or a place you never planned to be. He will use simple moments to fulfill His grand plan. That's the mystery of His ways. You cannot predict how He will do it. You can only trust that He will. God's ways are higher than your ways, and His connections are wiser than your choices. If you try to rush what God is still preparing, you'll only break what He's trying to bless. So, be patient. Be still. Keep working on your purpose. Keep strengthening your faith. Stop worrying about who, when, or how. When God wants you with someone, you will not have to chase what is yours. You will not have to beg for attention or fight for value. God's plan will naturally unfold, and it will fit so perfectly that you'll wonder how you ever doubted Him. And let me tell you, when it's divine, you'll both know it. There will be an undeniable spiritual connection, a shared hunger for growth, a unity that transcends surface attraction. You'll inspire each other to be better, not bitter. You'll push each other toward prayer, not pride. You'll walk side by side, not one pulling the other backward. Divine love is balanced, not one-sided. It is anchored in faith, not fear. It is patient, not impulsive. It forgives, it endures, it believes, and it protects. When God unites two souls, He also gives them the grace to guard that connection. It won't be effortless, but it will be worth it. There will be disagreements, but peace will always return. There will be challenges, but faith will always prevail. Because when God is the center, love becomes unbreakable. It's not built on appearance, mood, or convenience. It's built on covenant. And covenant cannot be cancelled by circumstances. Sometimes God will allow one of you to grow faster than the other. He does this not to divide you, but to stretch you. He wants you to learn patience, empathy, and endurance. You will learn to love not only in joy, but also in struggle. Because divine love isn't proven in the easy days, it's proven in the hard ones. When everything around you shakes, you'll discover if your connection stands on faith or feeling. And when it stands, you'll realize it wasn't your effort that held it together, it was God's hand. When God wants you with someone, He will keep bringing your paths back together, no matter how many times you drift apart. You might lose contact for a while, take different directions, or even think it's over. But somehow, someway, life will bring you back to the same point. That's how divine timing works. You cannot destroy what God has decreed. What is meant for you will find you. You don't need to chase signs. Just stay close to God. He will make it clear. The closer you are to Him, the clearer your discernment becomes. You will sense it in your spirit, not your emotions. You will know, because peace will settle where confusion used to live. And that's how God speaks, through peace, through stillness, through alignment. And if you're listening to this and wondering why it hasn't happened yet, why the right person hasn't appeared, let me tell you. God is not ignoring you, He's protecting you. Every delay has meaning. Every unanswered prayer has mercy in it. Because sometimes what you call waiting, God calls building. He's building your strength, your faith, your patience. He's teaching you to depend on Him alone. He knows when your heart is ready. He knows when your path aligns with the right person's path. When God wants you with someone, He does not rush the process, for He knows that anything birthed in haste cannot stand the storms of time. God is never in a hurry, yet He is always on time. You may not see what He's arranging, but that every delay is divine design. God is positioning hearts, molding characters, and preparing circumstances so that when two people meet under His will, the connection is not built on fantasy, but on faith. There are seasons where nothing seems to be happening, but in truth, everything is happening. Just not in the visible realm. God is aligning two destinies, two purposes, two spirits for something far beyond human imagination. The person God intends for you is not just a companion. They are an instrument of destiny. When God writes your story, He intertwines paths that were always meant to cross. What looks like coincidence is divine choreography. What feels like chance is heaven's intentionality. God does not deal in randomness. Every step, every encounter, every separation is calculated in His wisdom. You might think you just happened to meet someone by accident, but in the unseen realm, God whispered your name into their path. He orchestrated moments so precise that only eternity could have planned them. And yet, many people miss divine connections because they are impatient. They want results without refinement. They want someone's presence before they have learned solitude with God. You cannot recognize what is divine if your heart is filled with noise. God sometimes keeps you single, not to punish you, but to sanctify you. He wants to be your first connection before He introduces you to your human companion. Because if you cannot find peace in God alone, no human relationship will satisfy the void. When you are complete in God, you attract completeness. But when you are desperate, you attract dysfunction. That is why God often delays. He wants your dependence on Him to be unshakable before He blesses you with another soul. When God wants you with someone, He will use separation to test your faith. There will be moments where the person you believe is meant for you seems far unreachable or even uninterested. But God uses distance as divine discipline. He allows silence so you can learn to listen to His voice rather than the noise of emotion. In those silent seasons, He is teaching you trust. He is asking, do you believe I can work even when nothing is moving? True faith is not proven when everything is clear. It is proven when everything is confusing. If you can remain peaceful in uncertainty, you have entered the maturity of trust. The union God ordains will not be based on physical beauty or charm. It will be based on alignment of purpose. Outer attraction fades, but spiritual purpose endures. The one God chooses for you will not simply excite your emotions, They will awaken your mission. They will call forth the best in you. They will challenge your weaknesses without condemning your soul. They will remind you of God when you forget and hold you steady when the winds of life try to shake your faith. This kind of connection is not built overnight. It is built through prayer, through patience, through perseverance. Sometimes God will connect you with someone who doesn't look like your type. They may not fit the picture you imagined, but they fit the purpose God designed. The human eye looks for preference, but God's eye looks for destiny. You may be drawn to someone's beauty, but God is drawn to someone's heart. The one God chooses might not be what you wanted, but they will always be what you needed. Divine love is not about satisfying the ego. It is about fulfilling God's plan. The heart led by God does not chase what shines. It cherishes what aligns. When God wants you with someone, He will protect that connection from destruction. Even when you both face misunderstanding, opposition, or delay, the bond will not break. It may bend under pressure, but it will not be destroyed. God will give both of you the strength to endure. He will teach you to love not only through pleasure, but through pain, not only through agreement, but through growth. Love without God collapses under conflict, but love built by God matures through it. That is the difference between human attachment and divine connection. One depends on feelings, the other depends on faith. God does not bring people together for convenience. He brings them together for covenant. A covenant means your connection is bigger than emotions. It carries eternal weight. When God is at the center, love becomes sacred. You begin to see your partner not as a possession, but as a divine responsibility. You treat their heart as a temple, their presence as a blessing, and their growth as a mission. When two people both walk in obedience to God, their union becomes a channel for blessings. It becomes a place where peace dwells, where purpose thrives, and where faith deepens. And if God ever tells you to let go of someone, even if you love them, do not resist. Letting go is often part of His plan. Sometimes God removes a person temporarily so that He can refine both of you separately. Separation is not always rejection. It can be redirection. The one who truly belongs to you will return when God's timing is right. You cannot lose what God has ordained. The key is surrender. When you release what you love into God's hands, you are telling Him, I trust your judgment more than my feelings. And God always honors trust. There will come a moment when everything will begin to align. Your prayers, your growth, your waiting, it will all converge into divine manifestation. That's when God will bring that person at the appointed hour. It won't feel forced. It won't come through stress or confusion. It will come with ease, grace, and peace. You will sense that heaven has moved. And when that happens, you will not need to question, because your spirit will recognize what your eyes are seeing. God's fingerprints will be all over it. But remember this, when God gives you someone, it's not the end of your spiritual journey. It's the beginning of a greater one. The purpose of divine union is not just companionship. It's co-laboring with God. It's two people carrying one mission, one faith, one destiny. Together you become a reflection of God's wisdom in the earth. Together you become stronger than either of you could ever be alone. God's plan for your union is not comfort. It's calling. He doesn't just want you to love each other. He wants you to serve His will together. And yes, the enemy will always attack what God ordains. The moment two souls unite under God's purpose, darkness takes notice. Distractions will arise. Misunderstandings will try to grow. Temptations will whisper. But remember, what God builds, no enemy can destroy. The same God who brought you together will sustain you together. He will fight battles you never see. He will silence voices that try to divide. He will guard what He has joined. But both must remain rooted in Him. The moment you drift away from God, you drift away from peace. That is why it is vital to make God the center, not the person. Never worship the relationship, worship the one who gave it. When you build your foundation on the person instead of the Creator, the foundation will shake. But when God is the center, love becomes unshakable. You can face storms and still stand. You can face silence and still trust. You can face challenges and still choose love. Because your strength is not drawn from emotions. It is drawn from divine endurance. When God wants you with someone, He will shape you through trials that prepare you for that connection. You may not understand why life feels like it's breaking you, but every test is carving strength into your spirit. Every disappointment is removing immaturity. Every heartbreak is teaching discernment. You cannot be ready for divine partnership if you have not learned divine patience. You cannot love like God desires if you have not learned to wait like God requires. What you call heartbreak, God calls pruning. He is removing what cannot grow with you. There are seasons when you must stop praying for a person to come and start praying for the strength to become. Because divine connection is not about finding completion. It's about bringing completeness together. God's will is not to give you a person to fix your loneliness, but a person who will multiply your purpose. You are not a half looking for another half. You are a whole being preparing to join another whole for God's glory. Until you see yourself that way, you'll continue to attract people who drain you instead of those who develop you. When you finally meet the person God intended, you will realize why it never worked with anyone else. You will see that every failed relationship, every unanswered prayer, every lonely night was part of the preparation. You will understand that God had to close certain doors because what He planned for you required maturity, wisdom, and discernment. You will thank Him for the pain you once resented, because without it, you would not have been ready for the person who truly aligns with your soul. And when you walk with that person under God's blessing, you will understand what it means to live in divine peace. The world will see harmony, but only you will know the depth of God's fingerprints in your story. Every moment will be a reminder that when God writes your love story, it becomes a testimony, not just a romance. It becomes an altar of gratitude, not a place of pride. You will not just say, I found someone, but God brought someone. And that makes all the difference. Because when God wants you with someone, no power on earth can stop it. Every obstacle will eventually bow to divine timing. Every delay will serve as a bridge to destiny. Every closed door will lead to the one that was meant to open. When the moment arrives, it will come with peace, purpose, and clarity. You will see that all along, God was not just preparing someone for you. He was preparing you for someone. When God wants you with someone, He will not let your paths miss each other. Even if one goes left and the other goes right, even if years pass, even if continents divide you. When the appointed time comes, the same God who hung the stars in the sky will realign every step to make sure His will is fulfilled. You cannot outrun divine destiny. You cannot hide from what heaven has written. What God seals in purpose, no circumstance can unseal. And though your human eyes may see delay, God sees design. He sees growth, transformation, and readiness. He sees that before two leaves can become one purpose, both hearts must learn to surrender completely to Him. Sometimes, when God is preparing two souls for union, He takes them through the wilderness. You may walk through loneliness, confusion, and long nights of silence, not realizing that this very isolation is sacred. It's not punishment, it's preparation. God hides you before He reveals you. He keeps you unseen until the right person can value you through the lens of purpose, not pride. He will allow certain people to overlook you so that the one He chooses will recognize you through spiritual eyes. Because divine connection is not found through attraction alone, it is found through discernment. The one ordained by God will not just notice your face, they will recognize your spirit. There are times when God will test your heart by showing you what looks perfect but isn't right. He will allow distractions dressed as destiny to cross your path. Not because He wants to confuse you, but because He wants to strengthen your discernment. God does not want you to settle for chemistry when He designed you for covenant. He doesn't want you to chase what excites your emotions, but starves your soul. And when you finally learn to say no to what looks good but isn't from God, you make space for what truly carries His fingerprint. God cannot bless a heart that clings to counterfeits. When you release what you want, you open the door for what He wills. When God wants you with someone, your union will not only make sense in the physical realm, it will align in the spiritual realm. Your conversations will not just be words, they will carry peace. Your connection will not drain your energy, it will amplify your faith. You will not just find comfort in each other, you will find purpose in each other. When you both come together, you will feel the presence of God confirming what the world cannot comprehend. You will sense that your meeting was not random. It was a divine orchestration planned long before you even prayed for it. God is the greatest matchmaker because He knows what your soul needs more than your eyes desire. You may think you know what kind of person will suit you, but your vision is limited. God sees the hidden storms ahead. He knows who can pray with you when life breaks you, who can stand beside you when the world misunderstands you, and who can keep your spirit alive when everything around you feels dark. You may have a list of what you want, but God has a plan for what you need. And when His choice meets your surrender, the result will be peace beyond understanding. When God is involved, love becomes a journey of faith, not just emotion. There will be days when you don't feel the excitement, when challenges arise, when miscommunication tries to build walls. But those are the moments when God's presence will remind you that divine love is not about comfort, it's about commitment. It's not about who makes you feel alive in moments of passion. It's about who helps you stay aligned in moments of testing. Love built by God is not emotional chaos. It is spiritual calm. It doesn't fade when the season changes, it deepens with time. And yet, before God brings that kind of love, He will ask something of you. Obedience. He will ask you to trust His process even when it hurts. He will test your patience, your surrender, your faith. He will strip away pride and replace it with purity. He will cleanse your motives so that when love arrives, you don't idolize it, you honor it. Because if you worship the blessing, you lose the blessing. But if you worship the giver, you receive the blessing without losing your soul. God does not give divine connections to hearts that make idols of people. He gives them to hearts that know how to love through Him, not apart from Him. So if you are waiting, keep your heart pure. Keep your hands busy with purpose. Keep your faith anchored. The same God who created the heavens knows how to bring the right person into your life. You don't have to find them, you have to follow Him. The path to divine love is not pursuit. It is obedience. Walk faithfully, and in the fullness of time, you will encounter what was always meant to be yours. And when it happens, it will not feel forced. You won't have to question or chase. You will simply recognize that what you're experiencing is not just love, it's alignment. A connection that brings peace to your spirit, clarity to your mind, and growth to your soul. That's when you'll know this was never my doing, this was God's hand. This is the result of patience, prayer, and preparation. This is what happens when heaven decides two paths must become one.